and taking us to that place that we could go about developing and embodying a positive outlook on life. You already know who this is. This band coming with positivity and outlook so that we could go about addressing some of these issues that we have from a day-to-day basis. This morning I did a video in regards to don't be afraid of the dark. The whole mindset is that a lot of times our minds will perceive things to be in a certain manner, which will go about eluding us to be afraid. And in being afraid, it will hinder our progress in life. There's nothing to be afraid of. Fear, like I said, is just a thief. It is meant to rob you of the moment that you are to go about enjoying, that you are to go about excelling in life. Let it be at sports, let it be at a new job, let it be with any encounter that you have. Don't let fear dictate your pace. You have to be mindful. You have to be at a place where you're engaging. Don't worry about wins or losses, but take away what you're supposed to take away out of that moment. You see, so many of us, we try to play the game of life that we believe we could go about winning. But if anything that you're doing and you know the outcome is going to be a success, then you're not growing. You're only passing time. You're stagnant because you're not challenging yourself. So within that notion, allow yourself to not be afraid. The reason you're afraid is because you haven't developed enough courage to go about excelling and doing the things that is required of you to go about fulfilling whatever it is that you're undertaking. So being at a place that allows you to go forth and allows you to go about growing, then you will go about alleviating some of that fear. See, as a child, a lot of us, we grew up with this installation and ideology passed down from our parents, our communities, and so forth, that you shouldn't do this because bad things are going to happen. But yet at the same time, when we go about looking at life from a level and going about seeing that what was being told to me wasn't promoting the ideology that was being given to me, then we went about changing our mindset and alleviating and leaving behind that fear. So the one thing that I must say in this accord, fear is not real. Fear is only a precept that we go about putting inside our mind that leaves us at a disadvantage. Fear will hinder your progress. If there's anything that is fearful in your life at this juncture, at this placement, let's talk about it. put it in the inbox so that we could come to some resolution and getting past what is hindering you. Because for every misconception, there's a way we could go about getting the correction and doing the things that we need to go about doing in order for us to get better and go forward in life. Nothing has to remain the same. When we go about allowing ourselves to go forth, to do the right things, then it will help us to see that my concept, my precepts are not fully aware. And that's why I try to go about emphasizing. If there's anything that is fearful in your life, that is causing you anxiety, depression, speak to somebody. Because in speaking to somebody, somebody could go about giving you the answers that you are lacking. Don't hold things to yourself. Don't believe that it's you against the world, because then you will miss out on life itself. If you're dealing with anxiety, anxiety is a contributing factor to fear. It will drag you down. It will bring your day down. So one of the things that I want to go about trying to promote, the way to go about overcoming fear is for one to go about disciplining the mind and then allowing the mind to invoke and come forth with positivity, so that your outlook on things is more about going to challenge things rather than be reluctant and running and stepping back, stepping away from things. Because one thing about life, two things is either going to happen. Either you're going to be able to fight or flight. Nature's law. The state of mind is that we are going to engage or we're going to retreat. Now, if you go about telling yourself that you have what it takes to engage in whatever encounter you're coming up against, that's half the battle. But if you go about doubting yourself, you're creating a level of fear that is not real, because you're not giving yourself a chance to go about winning. Life is engagement to see where you're at. There's nothing to be afraid of. The one thing that we have to be is ready for whatever comes. And when we become ready, then we could go about developing certain things that we need to go for, that we could go about exemplifying and growing. So the one thing that I would like to go about mentioning in this accord is leave your fear behind. Because when we go about leaving our fear behind, that's when we start growing. That's when you can start appreciating who you are. So hit me with a comment. Let me know what's going on. Let me know the things that causes fear in your life, the things that goes about bringing depression in your life, the things that go about bringing anxiety. These are all mental states that we could go about overcoming, because when we go about realizing that the precept in which we hold is false, then we can go about leaving these things behind. And that's the whole thing of this journey, in that a lot of us, we carry so much baggage that goes about promoting worthlessness, that we hold on to these things. And we should be allowing ourselves the peace, that we should be going forth with it. Because when we come from a place of peace, then whatever comes in your path, you will be able to more understand, relate, and go about making a better choice in how to go about dealing with it rather than running away from it. That is not positivity. That is not reaching out to that next level that you're supposed to be encountering. Life is about growth. Don't let fear rob you of that growth. Let it be relationships. If you like a girl and you're like, man, I don't know if she's gonna like me, don't be afraid to tell her, I'm attracted to you, yada, yada, yada. Let her know. The worst thing she could tell you is, okay, look, I'm not at that place, or whatever the case may be. If you see a promotion at your job, don't be hesitant. Don't knock yourself down and telling yourself that, oh, I'm not good enough for that job. Don't cut yourself short. Give yourself a chance so that you could go forth. Don't become the product of worthlessness, because that's what fear will go about turning you into. If you want to try out for any team, any um, organization, and you believe that you have the talent to go about making that organization, that team better, give it a fighting shot. The one thing about life is it will go about surprising us, and it will give us things that we didn't even know that we had to go about being accessible to. It will open doors for you. It will allow you to go about seeing things. Along with fear, fear is not giving up on yourself. Believe in yourself. Because when you believe in yourself, then it will promote a better self. I see that we have a message from J Neighborhood. Thanks for taking the time to bring us positive blessing. Um, just trying to do my piece in order to go about creating and illustrating that there's positivity in the world. And if we do our part, we could go about making it a better community for all who are around us. And that's how positivity spread. Once we start doing the work within ourselves, then it grows. And vibration is something that is beautiful, because once you hold on to vibration, people will be drawn to you. Positivity is like a magnet. People want to do better. But in order for people to go about doing better, they must go about knowing that you have the confidence in what you are promoting. Because if I was on a pulpit and I'm just talking, rambling, and so forth, but somebody came into the congregation talking reckless and loose and wanted to attack the congregation. And I ran and hid. Your viewpoint of me would be different because I am not demonstrating what I am preaching. But yet at the same time, there's a lot of us out here that will talk a good game, but yet at the same time won't go about demonstrating the actions in which they are going about prostrating to the world. So the reason I say this in this accord is be of good faith, be of courage, because when your test does come, it will show what kind of person you are. It will let the world know that that's a person of good character. That is a person of good standards. But the way to go about grabbing hold of these things is to go about releasing all the fear, all the anxiety, all the negativity. We hold on to these negative concepts and precepts as if though it's going to get us somewhere. But all these things are doing is going about weighing us down. In weighing us down, we are left stuck because it becomes a perpetual cycle, which within it replays in our head on a continuous basis. Even though we think we're trying to get some sleep, we never get sleep because the subconscious is playing it over and over, so we could never get any sleep because our fears will come to find us out. The things that we're most afraid of is the thing that we are attracting the most in life. Some of us, we're so afraid to be alone that we would damn near get with anybody just to say, I have somebody. Some of us can't stand to be the object of negativity. So we go about prostrating and inflicting harm upon other people just so that it does not go about coming back on us. You see, a lot of us, we go about prostrating our fears on other people just so we don't become a victim of it. There's an old saying, hurt people hurt other people. The reason they go about hurting other people is because of the fear. It's best I go about hurting somebody else before somebody hurts me. Almost like the analogy of the it's almost like the analogy of the con man. If I didn't do it, somebody else was going to do it. But that's why I said a lot of times it's because of fear. He does not want to become a victim, so he'd rather go about victimizing other people because he doesn't have the courage to stand up to do what's right. Courage takes work. It takes a lot of work. But yet at the same time, it is possible. Just because some people invoked in hatred, that don't mean hatred is worthy. It just means it shows the character of that person because them being afraid have left them at a place of doing hurtful things. A bully will always go about attacking the weaker because if he demonstrates or illustrates how strong he really think he is, then other people, he will instill this level of fear. But when a bully meets a bigger bully, the lesser bully ends up running because all the while he's been afraid. Just because we fall victim to certain circumstances, let it be upbringing, let it be societal, let it be relationships, it does not mean that we are not worthy or that you are less than. It's just to go about showing you that by letting go of the fear, then you can start growing. But if you hold on to that fear, you won't grow. And that is the message that I want everybody to go about seeing, and that we need to go about letting go of fear. Fear is only a concept that's meant to keep people in check. It's almost as though in the inner cities, there's this big concept in regards to this notion that all black men should know when being pulled over by the cop, as if though it doesn't apply to anybody else. If you're driving and the sirens come blazing on, you should automatically know how to carry yourself. But I tell everybody the same thing, in that if you are doing nothing wrong, why should you be afraid because you got pulled over? Fear is only meant to keep people in check and keep people in place. There are systemic thresholds in which they go about applying to people to have them act a certain way, behave a certain way. But yet at the same time, when we go about realizing that I have rights like everybody else, then we will start treating each other equally. I'm just giving these different analogies of how fair is being promoted in our community. And the level of fair is not having us go about living our full life. So this is um, one of those things that I hope that we as a community, we as a people, we as a country, we as a nation could go about getting past fear, so that we could go about promoting a more healthier, positive outlook on life. If there's anything that you would like for me to touch on in regards to what you're going on in life, you could do it anonymously, but I would really um, want us to go about eradicating this level of fear that is being passed out, passed around, promoted, and the things that we're going about holding on to. Now, have a blessed one. One.